All right, so welcome back to the channel. We are back. I'm finally starting this back up again, and Tottenham have blown another chance to try and worm their way back out of the relegation zone. And Man City have basically just lambasted Chelsea. And Chelsea looks like the season's basically over. I know they have stuff that they're technically still competing for, but I mean, doesn't look like the players have any faith in Rosinha or the club itself from some of the reports that have come out about certain players speaking out, obviously, like Enzo Fernandez and Cucurella. And obviously, so you have that situation going on where it seems like everything's unsettled at Chelsea. It doesn't seem like they're really playing with great intensity. Like they had some moments in the first half where they looked competitive against Man City, but for the most part, it was nothing that you felt like was going to really give Man City trouble at the end of the day. You knew Man City eventually were going to score. I mean, when you have your center back pairing being Hato and Fofana, I mean, you're asking for trouble, especially against Erling Haaland and Ryan Cherky and Antoine Semenyo. So, I mean, it was total mismatch at the back for Chelsea. And like I said, it doesn't even seem like they really believe in Rosinha anymore. I don't think he's up to the task. It doesn't seem like he's motivating the team. It doesn't seem like his tactics are good enough. It doesn't seem like they believe in what he's telling them to do. So that whole Cole Palmer's not playing well. The whole team just seems pretty dysfunctional over there at Chelsea. It's probably the lowest point I've seen Chelsea at in years, if not longer than that. Honestly, it could be the lowest point I've seen Chelsea at since I've been watching soccer, which is now going on 10 years. And yes, I call it soccer. I'm in America, so I do call football, American football. But, yeah, so as far as that goes, Man City, huge win, piling pressure on Arsenal. Arsenal looks shaky. They look sweaty, palmed at this point. They don't look like they necessarily believe that they can score a lot of goals. It seems like they're relying on set pieces. And now with their conservative setup, because they're getting clammy and sweaty palmed, and now it kind of seems like they aren't able to kind of maybe do those free-flowing counter-attacking moves or possession moves that they used to be able to kind of work out enough to be able to score enough to be able to get over the line in a lot of these games where maybe they keep a clean sheet and win 1 or 2-0 or win 2-1. They used to be able to get a set piece and maybe one open play goal where they created something, but now it just seems like it's a grind for them to score it all. And you saw it again against Bournemouth. I mean, they had some opportunities here and there, but it was basically 50-50 on possession. And there was a long period of that game where Bournemouth were flat out outpossessing Arsenal at the Emirates, which I would have never guessed at the beginning of the season, but that's where we are. And yet Arsenal still are technically in the driver's seat for the title. But if you ask me, my hunch right now, I think Man City are going to catch up to them. I think Man City are going to win next week, and then the pressure's really on. But could that all change? 100%. If Arsenal win next week, I mean, basically back over again. So who knows exactly where it's going to go. Like I said, it's starting to seem like all the momentum's going towards Man City, but we'll find out what happens. And then as far as Tottenham goes, I think De Zerbi did some good things. It looked like Tottenham were more tactically well drilled and like positionally well versed than I've seen almost all season long. Like under Tudor, it didn't look like anybody knew what they were doing. They were just sitting back, but there was no clear plan on the counter, and it was just a mess. They were shipping goals left and right. So at least with this, it seems like there's some building blocks there where you can see the possession play coming together, even though they weren't creating a ton of chances today. That's going to take time when you're trying to install a new system, which is one of the hard parts about bringing in a guy like De Zerbi in, is that he does have a complex, like well-drilled system that he's trying to teach these guys. So it may not be the fastest thing to learn, and it may not be the fastest thing to get used to, which is tough when you're in a relegation battle like that. So we'll see how that plays out. I do think De Zerbi's a great coach. I think you could see the signs of what Tottenham could be under De Zerbi with the practice time put in and like having an actual off season. And who knows, even just with a couple more weeks of training and stuff like that and getting another game under their belt, they may get fluid enough in an attack and everything in their possession play where maybe we start to see them creating more chances and stuff of that nature. But on top of that, Tottenham's attackers and their midfielders are not good. They're not top 6 quality midfielders. Maybe 1 or 2 of them's top 6 bench quality, but that's about it. So, I mean, you're talking about a team really where they have mid-table attackers if that. And they're not able to create a lot from the midfield, and they're vulnerable in defense. So, and they don't trust their goalkeeper, especially when it's Kinski in there, even though he had a good game today. So, I mean, you have a lot of issues that you're trying to iron out with not just the morale of Tottenham, but the pressure of the relegation battle, and the fact that I don't think a lot of these players are very confident in themselves, and a lot of them maybe for good reason, because they're playing at a level that they're not up to. So, and they're playing at a club that considers itself top 6 standard when they're not top 6 standard players, and it comes from the club being cheap. That club comes from the club scouting poorly, and it's one of these things where now that's coming home to roost because you haven't replaced the superstars that you used to have when you were making these Champions League runs every year under Pochettino. So it's looking like a total mess for Spurs still, but I think there's some reason for some cautious optimism despite them losing today. I think they looked more well-drilled and more organized than I've seen them in a really long time today, and I think that's the first building block for De Zerbi, is to get them organized, formationally drilled, and then, all right, let's more work on some of this interchanging play and some of this more attacking possession play now over this upcoming week, and maybe we see a little bit more of that next week against Brighton. So we'll see where it all goes. It's very intriguing part of the season. I don't think it's very intriguing on the Chelsea part at this point because, like I said, I think that season's cooked. I don't think they believe in Rossinier, and I don't think that team's good enough anyway, and I don't see anything snapping them in a gear where they're all of a sudden going to go on a run and qualify for the Champions League, even though that 5th spot's open. I think they may even get snuck out by somebody else that's behind them. So we'll see where it all goes, and I mean, we got another exciting week coming up because, I mean, Man City, Arsenal, you got Tottenham playing Brighton, fighting for their lives, and I mean, there's still a lot to be played for. So please do subscribe to the channel, and please do comment, give me your thoughts on what I had to say, give me your thoughts on how this season is going to play out for Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal. And outside of that, have a great day, guys.